light reaction. So light reaction, here the production of assimilatory powers, which is ATP and NADPH by light, water and pigments. The stages of light reactions are: first, absorption of light energy by the pigments, next activation of chlorophyll molecule, next photolysis of water, and next electron transport chain, and at last synthesis of assimilatory powers. So before going to see about light reaction, we should know three concepts. First, what is a photosystem? Next, photolysis of water, and at last photophosphorylation. First, what is a photosystem? Photosystem comprises of group of pigments. It is divided into two: photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Photosystem 1 having the wavelength range of 700 nanometer and photosystem 2 having the wavelength range of 680 nanometer. The presence of these two photosystems have been proved through red drop and Emerson enhancement effect. This PS1 having more chlorophyll A, less accessory pigments. It absorbs light at far red region. PS2 having less chlorophyll A and more accessory pigments. It absorbs light at red region. So next, photolysis of water. So split the word into two: photo and lysis. Lysis means kill or destroy or split, and photo means light. Here the water is being killed using light, which means the water splits into protons, electrons using light. Let's see the definition of photolysis of water. Water molecule is splitting into proton, electron and oxygen by light, and OEC means oxygen evolving complex. Here the oxidation of water takes place, and this reaction is catalyzed by two nutrients, manganese and chlorine, Mn2 plus and Cl minus ions. Here a strong oxidant is involved which is not yet known, so it is designed as Z. Here the light splits the water molecule into proton, electron and oxygen, and here this Z represents Z compound, which is a strong oxidant, and this Z compound is not yet identified, but it is found to be tyrosine compound. And here the two nutrients involved is manganese and chlorine. This entirely forms the oxygen evolving complex. This is with regard to photolysis of water. Here the water is split into proton, electron and oxygen. Okay. Next, photophosphorylation. So before going to see what is a photophosphorylation, we should know what is the electron transport. So the electron transport is that the transfer of electrons through a series of electron carriers. Okay, and the process of formation of ATP from ADP and phosphate using energy of electron transport is called photosynthetic phosphorylation or photophosphorylation. ATP means adenosine triphosphate and ADP means adenosine diphosphate. The formation of adenosine triphosphate from adenosine diphosphate is called photophosphorylation or photosynthetic phosphorylation. Non-cyclic electron transport or result scheme and cyclic electron transport. Here we have two photosystems, PS1 and PS2. PS1 or P700, PS2 or P680. These two systems excited due to light energy. First, at PS1, due to light energy, it gets excited and reaches the excited state and releases electrons. These electrons first accepted by pheophytin. So in light reaction of photosynthesis, the first electron acceptor is pheophytin. The structure of this pheophytin and chlorophyll molecule is more or less similar. In chlorophyll molecule, magnesium is present as central head. So instead of that magnesium ion, two hydrogen ion is present in case of pheophytin. So later on, this electron reaches plastoquinone and cytochrome B6F complex and at last to plastocyanin. Then it goes to PS1. So Due to this electron and light energy, this PS1 get excited and reaches the excited state, and again electrons are released. These electrons again reaches ferredoxin, and at last it reduces NADP plus to NADPH. Here hydrogen is added. So here reduction process is taking place. So here a gap is created, so that to fill this gap, photolysis of water taking place. So what is photolysis of water? Splitting of water into hydrogen, electron and oxygen. This oxygen is released outside and this electron goes to filling this site. Okay, and the cycle continues. Since it takes place in the form of Z, so it is also known as non-cyclic electron transport or Z scheme. Sometimes it is in a cyclic manner. Okay, it doesn't goes to reduction of NADP plus, but it reaches the plastoquinone, cytochrome B6, plastocyanin, and the cycle continues. This is called cyclic electron transport. This is with regard to cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport. So what are the reasons for cyclic electron transport? Were non-availability of NADP, requirement of ATP is more than the normal condition. So these two are the reasons for cyclic electron transport in light reaction of photosynthesis. So the difference between cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport are: first, in cyclic only PS1 operates. In non-cyclic both PS1 and PS2 operate. In cyclic electron transport, electrons from PS1 is returns to PS1, which means it cycles back. While in non-cyclic electron transport, electrons from PS2 is not returning to PS2, which means it is non-cyclic. Next, in cyclic, protons release at only one step, which means at plastoquinone alone. While in non-cyclic, protons released at two places, one at photolysis of water and another at plastoquinone. In cyclic, no photolysis of water is taking place, which means no oxygen is released. In non-cyclic, photolysis of water taking place, which means oxygen is released. In cyclic, only ATP is produced, while in non-cyclic, ATP and NADPH are produced. This ATP and NADPH forms the assimilatory powers, which is used for reducing carbon dioxide to carbohydrate in dark reaction. This is with regard to cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport and difference between these two. At last, ATP synthesis. So ATP synthesis occurs for two reasons, one for energy protection and another to maintain pH. During light reaction of photosynthesis, more number of protons are released, which increases the acidic condition. So to maintain pH, this ATP synthesis occurs using the enzyme ATP synthase. Okay, let's see in detail about this. This is the light reaction of photosynthesis and it's taking place in thylakoid membrane. This is the structure of ATP synthase. It consists of two units, CF0 and CF1. The CF is nothing but coupling factor. Coupling factor 0 or CF0 and coupling factor 1. This CF0 rotates and CF1 is static, which means it does not rotate. This CF0 attached to the thylakoid membrane and CF1 extended up to the stroma. So the CF0 rotates so that this H plus released out. This H plus released out and it converts ADP to ATP, which means adenosine diphosphate to adenosine triphosphate. For each rotation, 3 ATP molecules are formed. So this is the non-cyclic reaction. So under non-cyclic reaction, ATP and NADPH both are produced. So under cyclic reaction, only ATP is produced. This is with regard to ATP synthesis. And the enzyme involved is ATP synthase. And at last, production of assimilatory powers. So two water molecules splits into 4 proton, 4 electron and oxygen using the nutrient manganese and chlorine, and the strong oxidant used is, which is not known and is designed as Z. So photolysis of water taking place. So for release of 1 molecule of oxygen, 2 water molecules are utilized, 4 electrons are transported, 3 ATP and 2 NADPH were generated, and 8 photons are required. So this is in all about the production of assimilatory powers. Here the assimilatory powers are ATP and NADPH. We coming to the end of this video. This is in overall view about light reaction of photosynthesis. Here the assimilatory powers were produced. These assimilatory powers were ATP and NADPH. And this light reaction taking place in grana of chloroplast or in thylakoid membrane. And moreover, photolysis of water taking place. Here the light splits the water molecule into proton, electron and oxygen using Z complex, which is not yet known, and using the nutrients manganese and chlorine. Later on, these electrons and pigments together enters the electron transport chain. In this electron transport chain, ADP is converted to ATP and NADP plus is converted to NADPH. Here the ATP forms as energy and NADPH acts as reducing power. This is in all about light reaction of photosynthesis. And these pigments are the chlorophyll pigments, and this Z compound is found to be tyrosine compound, but it is not yet proved. Hope you understand this. Thank you.